And nothing's really touch and go. It doesn't always work.
Yeah, let's wait until 10 seconds, and then if it goes past 10 seconds, it's fine. Okay, we're good.
Okay, I'll see.
All right, you guys can start coming in, and then one off to let you know that.
Oh, okay. I think.
Hi.
I'm great.
Hi, I'm Mary Sawyer.
Hey, Mary. Good to meet you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Carl.
Yeah, you guys can say
These
it.
ones here would be okay?
Hi, great.
Yeah,
Hi,
this
nice
here,
to meet you.
right?
I'm
Oh, yeah,
Jessica.
that's
Is
totally
that
fine.
okay?
Yeah, and there should be air conditioning on too, so
Okay.
hopefully it'll cool down.
Thank you. So
Let's
hot.
see. I know, it's a heat wave today.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, you guys can take a flowers.
Oh, okay. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sure.
Appreciate it.
I'm Jyotsna. I stay in Barrel Park area.
Oh, okay.
You guys must be from the neighborhood too.
No, actually from Old Palo Alto. They're putting a lot of these poles where we live.
Yes.
In
Just
Barrel
next
Park
time.
too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Yeah, they put signs up which poles they're gonna be, change.
It's really just a few feet from my.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, there's one that they put outside of Steve Jobs' house. And when we go for a walk, it's not that high up. It's like so noisy. It's like whirling.
It's a fan inside
Yeah.
the device.
And
Some of
it's
them
like
have fans.
crazy noisy.
Some of them don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's not just what you can hear, what you can't hear and see. That scares me
worries you
more.
too?
Electromagnetic.
Yeah, all the other things that you
Yeah.
could say and feel that
Yeah,
cause
yeah.
alarm.
Yeah. I'm getting electrified.
Call from wireless caller.
Oh, that was probably our meeting before.
Do you want to take?
Call from wireless caller.
Yeah, nice.
Oh. Hello, Greg Tanaka's office. I'm Max's associate, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But I really appreciate you reaching out and making
Yeah.
sure people are connected. That's so important.
I think, I work for the residents, so I want to hear what you guys have to say. And
But
Great.
to see that in practice is
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah, that's a good,
Great, thank you.
good way of looking at things.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Fleming.
Jeannie,
Nice to meet
good to
you.
meet you. Haven't seen
Hi,
you.
Hi.
I'm Mary Sumaloka.
Hi, Mary.
We
Jeannie
look
Fleming.
at each other.
You look familiar to
Yeah,
me too.
Old Palo Alto?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you hand off the flyer?
I did, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, we took that and sent an email.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Are they putting one up
Hi.
in
I'm
right
great.
in your house?
They would like to.
Okay,
That's how I think of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your.
My name's Carl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do? Yes.
Hi, Jeannie. I'm Jyotsna. We exchanged some emails too.
Oh, yes. I remember. You're over in Barrel Park. Yeah.
Do you mind if I?
Of course not. I can scoot in if it's easier
Just
for
a
you
minute.
guys.
Oh, hi. Okay, maybe you move there.
Sure.
Here, you sit here.
Hi, I'm Greg.
I'm Nahid Wally.
Can you just a few
What
flyers
word
down?
are
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jeannie Fleming.
Hi.
Wendy
Do you
Chen.
have the
Nice to meet
Wally
you.
family?
With what?
Wally. We
Wally.
live on Emerson Street.
Oh, Palo Alto?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's why we are here,
Okay.
because of this. You see the signs, right? You saw the signs, they're gonna put the. I know, yeah. Yeah, all over our neighborhood. Yeah. Where do you live? We live on Webster. Webster, yeah. Near Santa Rita, California.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
So we'll get started in about 2 minutes.
Okay, great.
And just so everyone knows, this will be broadcasted on Facebook Live, so other people can tune in and hear about the issue and comment and stuff.
So we might be taking some questions from the web as well.
Oh,
Okay.
Great. Is this an issue that, Greg, that you've been getting a lot of emails with respect to? Or?
Yes, I mean, Ezra's been helping me fill it. Actually, naturally, I don't know if you have a feel, but quite a few, yes.
Max has been getting a lot.
Is that right? Good, I'm glad to hear it.
I hope you got a better response than this.
I don't know.
A lot more people wrote to you, or
I think we invited, everyone that wrote to us to this meeting, so, but this is it so far, I think.
Yeah.
I think Max said there would be about 10 people.
Well, my neighbor sent an email, but she said that she never get a response.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, I think what happened, because this happened to me too, is if you wrote directly to Greg, for example, you didn't get a response. But if you wrote to the general city council email, you did get a response.
Okay,
okay,
so I can check with
because
my
I think a lot more people should be aware
I would
of
think
what
so.
is happening to the neighborhood. I mean,
Yeah.
we need to work more closely to block this.
Residents of the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, so it's 12 o'clock, so let's get started. I think we have until 12:30 for the next topic. So, oh, hi, I'm Greg. Okay, so maybe what we could do is just kind of go around the table to talk about who you are, where you live, and briefly, the topic, which is the Verizon Towers. So maybe we'll start with you, and just spend just 30 seconds. That'd be great. I think that way we can get around.
Yeah. I'm Jyotsna Nimkar. I live in the Barron Park area of Villa Vera and Los Robles Avenue, and there is a cell phone tower going up. Just a few, I would say, 10 feet from my front yard.
It's already there?
No, it's the notices are.
Oh.
And so I'm really concerned, aesthetics, all the things that everyone is feeling about, and of course all the other mountain areas.
So it's really health and aesthetics.
I'm not sure actually that you didn't say that you were concerned by more than, oh, pardon me, I misheard you. You said health and aesthetics.
Right.
And I think noise is probably something.
Noise, and this, multiple, I think everything that all of you are going to say. So.
Oh, hi. Hi, Greg.
I can have to know.
Greg. Just grab a seat anyway. Thank you. Yeah, yes. Oh, that's nice. You can sit here too.
Oh, okay, there is a
Oh,
chair
there's one
here.
there, and there's one there.
And there is a chair here.
Oh, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So, let's see. Well, you just got here, so let's go with you.
Okay. My name is Ahmad Wale. I live on Amherst Street near California Avenue. And my concern is that once something like this gets started and then gets to be commercialized, and then the other commercial entities get in, and then really ties in with the infrastructure and all the expenses and all those things that involved. Unless we do something very systematic, then there are some problems that we really need to take care of. This by itself is just one item, but I think it's leading to other items that are similar to it or different, but definitely related to infrastructure.
So just do you say your concern is that this will continue? Is that?
Yes, because I mean, what do you do with AT&T? What do you do with the next company? I mean, the companies, they have the right to come in. If one did, the others have to come. And then the question is, Old Palo Alto, right? We have all the infrastructure above ground versus Crescent Park below. Well, that should have happened a long time ago, but nevertheless, we are still here 2017. What do we do next? So I'm just simply saying that not only is just one problem, but it's a gate to a number of other problems.
I'm Nahid Wale, I'm his wife. I live in the same house. And my concern is the city somehow will be compensated for this thing? I mean, and who gives them the right I mean, you can use, like, it's like sitting in your home and somebody just walks in and wants to build something in your property. This is not correct. I mean, I have all these questions. It's outrageous.
We're doing quick introductions now, so I'll address it. But let's.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No. I can go on and on, but move on, please.
I'm Jeannie Fleming, and I'm concerned about the same things others have talked about. I'm concerned about aesthetics. I'm concerned about noise. I'm concerned about home values. I certainly would be a lot happier if these weren't devices that emitted radiation. I'm also concerned about the bigger issue here, which is the undergrounding of utilities in our neighborhood. The last, as far as I'm aware, the last time that, at least in our neighborhood, that any effort was made to live up to the city's promise to put everyone's utilities underground was in about 2000, when Byron Street was done. So that's talking about over 15 years that nothing has occurred on this front. And we're all taxpayers. We've all been paying taxes that allowed these utilities to be undergrounded in other parts of our community.
Good.
Are you recording? Okay. Yeah, Herc Kwan. I actually went to the architectural board to listen to the when I received the notice, it was actually they did it wrong. They actually, I don't know if it's intentionally or the meeting was May 18th and it was actually printed as March 18th. So I actually did go there and then express my opinion and send a letter also to the council. I think actually Councilman Tanaka actually got, one of his staff actually contacted me at that time, so I was very glad. And then Jeannie also know that we actually contacted the Mercury News also.
Yes.
They have an article on that.
So what's your concern about?
So my concern is that actually I have two kids. Our room is right basically facing the pole that they're going to install the antenna. And so Verizon has already contacted us saying that, and I actually said that if you could just turn off that sector facing us. So they have that 3 sectors. They said that they can turn off the sector facing our house and then just broadcast to the other 2. And they could do that, but the thing is that I'm really concerned
You should
about
be
it.
concerned.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Eric, did you say they said they would do that?
They would do that.
They said they would.
They would do that, right? But then I still asked them why. There's nobody trying to use this. We talked to the neighbors in our neighborhood, and they basically said that nobody uses Verizon in the neighborhood.
I use Verizon. I'm a Verizon customer.
Well, I have a Verizon phone too, but I don't
think there are other ways
Verizon.
for them to do it that are at least as efficient, that don't make our neighborhood uglier, among other things.
Right. But I'm concerned about the health issues with my kids and all that.
Well, my name is Wen Chen. I live Bryan in California, and I have the same concern that I have heard from you guys. So just here to gain more understanding, and hopefully we can have a say about this.
Yeah, my name is Carl Seaman. I'm from Webster Street on Palo Alto, and I think the same concerns. I got the noise, health issues, and I'm wondering, what's the benefit to the community for what they're doing? Why can't they mitigate it by putting it on by city buildings or by busy intersections? Why can't they put it on like in Pocatello, Oregon, where it's already noisy? And the other comment I have is that you see the house Steve Jobs' old house has that. And it's very noisy. Oh, yes. It's very noisy. Yeah. Very disturbing. I wouldn't want that.
It's scary. Hi, I'm Lucy Walker, and us together too. And I'm just, I don't know how you put the poles, first of all. It's like, you hope it doesn't come in your house. But I see they're putting it all over Old Palo Alto, and I'm concerned it would stop. or they can just hit every pole in our neighborhood. So,
Tom Hoster, I live in Opala on Highland Street, and I wrote the city council. I think I'm a bit of a contrarian. I was actually in favor of allowing Verizon to put their sites up. I just wanted the city council to know that it's me, it's not unanimous that everybody objects to it.
Where do you stand on undergrounding, Tom?
I actually benefit from having had my utilities put underground before they stopped the program. I believe it was a 75-year program with all utilities underground.
So your utilities are underground, and you don't have one of these poles in front of your home.
So yeah, then you're not in the same the same situation.
Plus, I'm not a Verizon subscriber nor the company. It's just
But you don't voice the same concern as the rest of us because you don't have some people who don't like it.
I don't have some.
Okay, so maybe let's just try to get everyone else.
Well, I'm Debbie Roth, and I live on Webster Street in Old Colorado, and they happen to have, well, at least on Webster, there's two of them, two of those things going on. It's within a block.
yeah.
And I'm also very upset that we don't have the underground, which we said a long time ago we were going to get. Byron got it, but we didn't.
Quick name with your well, yeah, with your consent.
Okay, I'm Phoebe Becker. I live on Quiet in Seattle, Tennessee. I'm actually currently I've got no. I've got an AT&T tower in my telephone pole, and it's not a big deal, but I have terrible access. I mean, I've like terrible calls drop. I have to go out in my car and talk to people. Well, I got Verizon.
Yeah.
Why don't you switch to AT&T?
If you put Wi-Fi in your house, it won't go through Verizon. It'll just go through, like, Comcast.
That's not Wi-Fi.
I think that's what you do.
No, that's what I don't want to do. I keep my Verizon
It's Saban and I live on West Street, Palo Alto, and I've been a resident since 1962. And I certainly do not like what was going on in old Palo Alto. And long ago, we were told we would have an underground utility. And again, for some unknown reason, we are being bypassed. And also the same occurs with the redoing of the streets. It seems that Webster Street is bypassed. And I think there are other places they can put this, i.e. downtown or out in the Baylands, wherever, not in the residential areas. We've already ruined Palo Alto with all this building selling out. And these weird houses going up. And enough is enough.
My name is Annette Fazino, and I live on the Knoll, and I have 2 young children in homeschool, so we're there 24/7. And my late husband Barry had always promised me, those poles are going underground, don't worry about it. So, and here now I'm hearing that they might not, and not only that, but it's right in front of our house. I'm concerned about the noise, the property values, and I would be remiss to say that if that I'm concerned about the health issues for my family and for some older people on my street. My husband died from a cancer that's caused largely by environmental issues, but I can't point to cell phone towers on that. I mean, we don't know why he got that, but he did, and I just don't want to be bathed in radiation every day or have my children bathed in it. I think there are simple solutions here for getting them elsewhere, and that's done. Because both seem to be underground.
And, I just want to add that when Annette says her husband Gary said they were going underground, you know what he was talking about. He was the mayor of Palo Alto and longtime city council member. So I think we're talking about an obligation that the city has to the residents and taxpayers.
I had sprayed their house in the building, and it came out. Some of us neighbors had wanted to put it underground, and it was funny. Oh, don't worry about it. The city's going to do it. You don't need to do it. So it didn't happen, and it's all due respect for you, so that we don't have one right in the house. We're lucky, but a lot of us do. And I think there are places that they go. Business districts, I think, are great. All community out. Bands, where the dump is. I think we could put our heads together and find something that would give us more service and help protect our property values, aesthetics, and safety.
So I think everyone's been heard, right? Okay, great. So first of all, thank you for everyone for coming out on Sunday to come and speak with you. Obviously, this is important, and our office has heard from a lot of people about this topic, both on both sides of the issue. You guys are not new. A lot on both sides. So let's. I've heard the definition they're looking down. So kind of one of the common issues that I think a lot of people brought up was underground. And I think most people, I think the university would want the utilities underground. I think that's pretty universal. So I be one of them, by the way. So I live in College Station. I live about 1 blocks from Stanford, and my neighbor has underground, but I don't. Right? So why is that? I do not know, but it is what it is. But I can tell you that I'm also on the finance committee for Paul, and the city is not doing very much now. So
Whoa, excuse me, but you're really going to have to explain that one. How can that? I don't mean to be rude, but please don't frame what you're saying to us that way. We know what the property taxes look like in this town. We know what revenue it generates. We know what the sales tax at Stanford Shopping Center generates in terms of revenue for this town. Please start by explaining how we could possibly not be doing well financially. What have we been spending our money on, sir?
Well, for example, about 2 weeks ago, we approved the janitorial contract. The janitorial contract previously was $5 million a year, $5 million for like 2 years, and now it's $10 million a year, or $10 million for the same exact thing. So that's an example of what happened. So we had to dip into about the city division.
So I'm wondering if the cell phone towers are going to provide revenue to the city. Is that why is that a consideration?
Well, I guess let me just take one issue at a time. So first of all, I also served on the Infrastructure Development Commission. We looked at the infrastructure. We actually talked a lot about underground utilities, and it's something which the city is supposed to be doing, but budget-wise, it is. I mean, despite the fact that we're in a very affluent area, the city itself is not doing very well financially. Right? We have to balance this year's budget by taking money from reserves. Even though we have record property tax, record sales tax, we have a $1 billion, almost $1 billion worth of unfunded pension liabilities. So while you think the city is very wealthy, fiscally we haven't trouble balancing budget. So just got to be clear about that. So if there's a wealthy desire to do that undergrounding, the big problem is how you pay for it. That's the issue, right?
Well, again, I apologize. I don't mean to combat it, but I'm not willing to take as an article of faith that Palo Alto doesn't have enough money to do this. Yeah. I'll give you one example of a cost-saving matter. Many cities are renegotiating their pensions with their employees. Yeah, pensions are out of control, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. I'm a government who fights too, and we don't really give those kind of benefits. Like, why should we if we can't afford to pay them? No, and so we have different packages.
Well, this year's budget that we approved for Councilman Blake, I was trying to get pensions recognized, pension liability, because it's like having let's call it $1 million in credit card debt, but pretending it doesn't exist. Right? That's what the city did. What the city does, we make a minimum payment on the credit card debt, but we have $1 billion. That's good. That's not good planning. So I was trying to push for getting the unfunded pension liability recognized. So just like all of us, for our own personal credit card, getting $1 million in credit card debt, we would definitely put that into consideration when we do a budget. Right? The city of Palm doesn't do that. It just takes the minimum credit card payment and says that's all we have to worry about. It doesn't matter that the principal keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It doesn't matter. As long as you can make a minimum, you're okay. So I was trying to get the city to basically say, we're only okay if the people stay the same. If people are going everywhere, we are in trouble. Right? It's a different topic than what we're all here to talk about. But just to address the issue with the fact that we are residence-wise, one of the wealthiest cities in the world, clearly. We have record amount of revenue. But the truth is, our expenses has grown at 8% per year, and our revenue is only growing at 6% per year. So we have a 2% structural deficit that we accumulate every year. So I agree with what you're saying. This makes no logical sense that this is what's happening, but this is the reality. And so I've been trying to make a very concerted effort to actually invest in the infrastructure that we promised residents. But at the same time, we are not, we have trouble balancing the budget. So you guys look at the last year, or the budget we just approved, we did reserves to balance the budget. Not necessarily a good thing, right? But here's what it is.
Well, I'm just concerned that, okay, so now we're talking about a couple of issues here. The utilities going underground versus all of our idea. I'm willing to put that hand on the road, but if we start putting things on the poles, then the argument's going to be, well, we can't put it underground because these towers are there. So I don't like the fact that ours are not underground, but it's honestly many decades later. But I can live with that. But what I can't live with is things being stacked on and stacked on and stacked on, and then it will prohibit us putting them underground. And then it's just like, well, it's too late.
So let's talk about the next issue. So there's definitely a financial issue here in terms of undergrounding, which I kind of touched on, but we could spend a lot of time on that, or maybe go on to the next topic, which is
just on that topic, the paving of the streets is also of the same underground nature, because some of them seem to be done, and a lot of them are just left okay.
I mean, look at El Camino, right?
Yeah, look at Emerson where I live. Look at that. And, it seems that nobody likes anybody.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's inconsistent. But let's go to the topic that we're all here talking. So let's talk about aesthetics, right? So on terms of aesthetics, and I'm not an expert in cell phone tower technology, but I served also on the planning commission, so we did look at some of these cell phone tower installation. And there's many ways to make it much less obtrusive, right? There's much ways to make it look like a tree, look like lots of other things, so you don't fight, the visual impact is not there. And to me, it seems like that's a reasonable thing to do. Now, I actually haven't seen this, like in my neighborhood, so it's hard for me to tell what aesthetically what it look like.
Yeah, did you have one of these in front of your house, sir?
I don't think so.
No.
I might, but
no. But have you seen the mock-up across from the library?
Do you guys have a picture of it?
Well, I think we all know, if you haven't gone to see the mock-up, we kind of know what these look like, because in fact there are some AT&T installations in our neighborhood, as Judy has pointed out, and one by the Jobs House is, I think, the one that we're most familiar with. I think it's fair to say there is no way to make those aesthetically acceptable if you live near it. This might be fine if you live in College Terrace and you're contemplating one in abstract that's in another neighborhood. But if it's near your house, it's simply hideous. And I will tell you, it adds insult to injury. We're already stuck with above ground utilities that now you seem to be telling us, don't hold your breath for that. And here's insult to injury. Now we've got this even more hideous addition. And as this gentleman has said, and I think we all know, this is the second wave of an effort to put these towers in our residential neighborhoods. AT&T has come through once, Verizon is coming through now. AT&T is teed up to come in with a new set of additional clusters that they want to put on the poles, and others will follow. So we will simply.
Where they go up.
Well, I think they have heuristics for that, but
we have only about 7 minutes, so just to kind of get to the issue. So in terms of aesthetics, I personally haven't seen one you guys are referring to, but anyone has pictures of it, send it to me.
Well, I can give you one idea for how they approach the issue of aesthetics. There are these ugly boxes all over the pole. And they're not all at the top, by the way. Right now, on an ordinary utility pole, the stuff is at the top, pretty much. So there's ugly boxes. So one idea to improve these things aesthetically is to put a kind of metal sheath on those boxes.
Really?
It just looks like a great big ugly box on the utility pole. Or they have a big cabinets at the bottom that, one plan is, well, possibly you could make that cabinet look like a bench. It doesn't. It looks like a bench that looks like a big metal cabinet. It's, they're hideous. We're talking about things that are hideous.
To me, I think that's definitely valid concern. And the planning commission, so one project that I remember reviewing is the one that was at the Little League baseball diamond, in Middlefield. And we saw different alternatives, ones that look like, a utility shack, and other ones that look really like a tree. We would have a big tree like this. Okay, yeah. So that is
this is just a generic one.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this one definitely doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, my
so
gosh.
I think the city can certainly ask for or demand that, okay. So I think those are there's certainly ones that could be a lot better.
Well, they're certainly not proposing anything like that. I assume you're aware of
all
that.
of these things in old Palo Alto, so they can give service all over Palo Alto, including Pleasant Park, places which are underground, and just so happens that you have the poles which are above the ground.
I actually don't know.
I know every cluster that's been proposed is in a neighborhood a residential neighborhood that has its utilities above ground. There are 3 clusters that are on the table.
What is the extent of the service? The service is what they
well, these guys are going.
Make it for 2 reasons.
And like
you're isolating one group, and second, you're punishing them because they have not done whatever it is you were supposed to do. You take the above ground into underground.
Right.
So
and
now you're stuck with it because it's
so just to make some progress on this, I would say that aesthetically, to me, this seems to be a very legitimate concern that we should try to figure out. And I've seen one for the baseball diamond look much better than the one that you just showed me. So I think that could certainly be a topic of discussion.
Wait. Can I just take a poll here? Raise your hand if you think that making these boxes look to Mr. Tanaka like a tree, if that would make them acceptable to you. Raise your hand if that would make them acceptable to you.
No, and I think the issue is more than aesthetics.
Wait a minute, I want to say for the benefit of anyone who's not here, no one has raised their hand. No one has raised their hand. That if Mr. Tanaka believes this looks somewhat like a tree, that would make them okay for our neighborhood.
This is the prettiest one I can find, and it's not pretty, but you know what, I think even just moving beyond it, I think we need to think of, okay, we were promised underground utilities, so even if we can't pay for it right now, let's just table that, but if they were underground, then we can put these towers, the kind of spot that is better for our community, better for our lifestyle.
I have a question. So could we have, if utilities were underground, does that make
Yeah, I think so.
I believe that each of the firehouses have cell towers that look like the flat poles. Right?
And they use those. Why
They're
not put them there?
They're goofy looking. You got a flagpole that's maybe 12, 14 inches. But I believe each of those is a cell tower.
For Verizon, this is a quick and dirty way to take care of their problem. Putting their equipment on our poles and paying rent to the city of Palo Alto is far cheaper than erecting a pole for this purpose that is kind of a faux lamppost. That's what they would have to propose to the city, let's say in Crescent Park, where the utilities are underground. That's much more expensive. So what we're really talking about here is offering a quick, cheap, dirty solution that pays rent to the city of Palo Alto, but it's at our expense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with it.
And then we're stuck with
Exactly.
it. And try getting rid of it. Try getting rid of it.
It's the revenue that city gets as a result of this. Does it help your budget?
So I guess just to back up a little bit, the council itself does not decide with.
Oh, I beg to differ. I have spoken at length to the folks at the city, and I know how this process works. The ARB makes a recommendation. Hillary Gittleman, the director of planning, then makes a decision, or she can refer that decision to city council. So you cannot back away from this decision and say that it is on the director of planning. You would have to be telling her that you don't want to make the decision for that to happen.
So, are you trying to say that who said they have a floor?
I do.
So for your house, you're saying that you think the city council put a floor on her house?
No, and I think you're making us sound idiotic when you say that. Of course not. I'm saying that the city that Verizon has made application to the city to put these poles in. As they've done in the past, the city council is well aware of this issue. They are well aware of the trade-offs and who's paying for it and who's not. And the way the process works is that the Architectural Review Board reviews, because these are the folks who can make a call on aesthetics. Then the director of planning either chooses to go along with them or not. But she is entirely within her rights to make this a political decision. And I think what we're saying to you here is we view it as a political decision that's being made. And we expect you to take responsibility for this, not to say, oh, well, that's Hillary Gittleman's job. It's not her job. She's absolutely free to hand it off to you if you allow her to.
So, we're kind of out of time here, but I wanted to help on this topic. And so I definitely understand everyone's concern. To really hear on this topic, we have to agendize onto city council agenda. To get agendized, we need to get the mayor or city manager to say, put it on the agenda, or we need to get two council people to put it on the agenda. And that's all we need to vote on. Otherwise, the city runs through staff. The council doesn't decide what happens. I would support yes. But you need to allow the council person to support it.
Do you have a suggestion for who that person might be?
I don't know. It hasn't come before council yet. So that's the thing about it's not when I've been on council for about 3 months. So since I've been on council, I haven't seen it. But it's very topic. So I can't. I don't know. I don't know what how people feel on it. But that's what it would take. So yeah. So I think if you get another council or talk to the mayor, and do topic up, then let's discuss that because by myself I can't do much about this. But there are other councils.
Well, can we count on you to speak to your colleagues and see if you find...
We're not supposed to talk to more than a certain number of people otherwise we get a Brown Act.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a they call it
we should write our emails and names and addresses. We can bring more people and just be more
there's a council
proactive. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Tomorrow to speak about this. Just talk tomorrow. And but as a council person, I'm not supposed to talk to other council people, except in public session. They call it Brown Act.
What time is that?
6 p.m. tomorrow. 6 p.m. If you come in at 6 p.m.
Sometimes I know that.
6 p.m. you guys can speak. And could have your neighbors speak. And both sides. That's it's not you want to know. But that's what it takes.
I just like to say to Judy and to Tom that I think everybody here cares about getting good cell service. We simply think there are other ways to accomplish it that don't involve putting this equipment in our neighborhood and next to our homes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody, please write your email for us.
So they get a rent. Everything that's on the poles, they are
good.
So okay, if it's the phone,
he's going to
circulate.
My neighbors don't know. I mean, they are so busy. No, they can bring a lot more people.
Yeah, my neighbor was actually sick, and so he could not come this morning. But then he's the one who actually try to be proud, driving everybody. Right. And then we actually went to these open houses by Verizon and then talked to them. Basically, and then they came out to look at our sites and tried to talk to us. And that's how I get to know those people.
Yeah, we just need to keep informed to the people like us.
Yeah, and show up together.
Everybody else.
He said that he will send us the list.
Right.
Maybe check with him how soon. I need to get that
seeing you.
information.
Yeah.
Very nice
Yeah.
to meet you, sir.
I'm so glad you sent out that flyer. Thanks. Yeah, Dominic cannot. He's sick today. So
I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, that's really
Nice meeting you, and thank you very much for
contributing so much.